How do you detach from someone without withdrawing your love? That's what this week's topic is, because detachment is a lifesaver in relationships. It's going to preserve your sanity and create healthy boundaries for you. But first, my name is Michelle Ferris. I'm a psychotherapist, and I love helping people create relationships that work. So don't forget to stay until the end, where I give you a bonus tip on where you can find the best support for detaching with love. So here are a few examples of when detachment works. When you have a partner that's yelling at you and you don't know how to get out of it. Or maybe you have a loved one with some annoying habits that you just can't let go of. Or maybe your partner is mistreating you, or maybe you're trying to change or fix somebody else's behavior. In all of these situations, detachment with love can be a lifesaver. So what is detachment? Detachment is letting someone else experience their consequences without trying to fix or change what's happening for them. It's really giving them the dignity to take care of themselves and make their own choices. So detaching creates a healthy boundary between you and the other person. And it definitely is going to be able to protect yourself in certain situations. For example, you love somebody that drinks too much. Instead of trying to rescue them and get them sober, you realize you're really wasting a lot of precious energy, and letting them figure it out for themselves can be a way to detach with love without overstepping your boundaries. Another example might be maybe you're in a relationship with a narcissist or someone who treats you badly, and you need to figure out how to detach from that, because staying and listening to it is too painful, and it's even creating some consequences for you. Another example of using detachment is you don't do for them what they can do for themselves. So making their own doctor's appointments, doing their own laundry. Start small, because whenever we're practicing a new behavior, and detaching is no different, I want you to get a win fast. And the easiest way to do that is to pick some small behaviors that you can detach from to decrease your own stress level and preserve the relationship. Because part of when we don't detach, we're taking responsibility for somebody else. And that creates issues of control. We want to control the outcome. We want to control their safety. We want to make sure they're okay. And while those are really loving attributes, sometimes they actually hurt you. Because if you start controlling somebody else's life, you're going to lose yourself in the process. And that's one of the reasons why I'm talking about detaching. If you've ever practiced detachment with love, I want you to say yes in the comments, because I want to help you improve how to do that. So detaching also doesn't mean that you don't care about them. It means that you're putting yourself first and you're giving them the dignity to make their own choices. Now, this is not easy, because sometimes we're afraid of what other people are going to do. Maybe you're with an active alcoholic and you're afraid that they're going to hurt themselves, or somebody who is really angry and could hurt your children. So part of why detaching is so critical in relationships is because it protects you from abusive behavior. And so sometimes the best course of action in detaching is to leave the situation, leave the room, leave the house, do whatever you need to do to protect and stay safe, you, and if there's kids involved, to protect them as well. So here are some situations where detaching can help. If you love someone who's addicted to substances and it's creating a lot of chaos for you. If there's any destructive or abusive behavior that you need to protect yourself from. If there are situations that you're trying to control the outcome and you're just not being successful. Because let's face it, none of us can control the outcome. So a common question I get asked a lot is, isn't it more loving to help rather than watch them suffer? Not necessarily. Doing for others what they should be doing for themselves really prevents them from ever becoming independent and taking responsibility for their own life. Now, of course, this is going to change from situation to situation, but you have to ask yourself, is what you're doing helping or hurting them? Are you enabling them to continue bad or irresponsible behavior because you don't want to see them get hurt? Because sometimes what we do, especially if you're a recovering codependent like me, is we want to prevent somebody else's pain. And the problem is we just can't do that. It actually prolongs their pain, because when you don't have your pain, you don't do the healing work and you don't see a problem. So pain becomes a motivator for most people to take action. And if we remove that by feeling their feelings for them and preventing them from hurting, then they don't ever see a need to change their own behavior. And that's why detaching is so important. So what does detachment look like in relationships? It looks like not making excuses for their own behavior, staying silent, removing yourself from the situation or the room if possible, instead of trying to stay and fix it, letting somebody make their own mistakes and not getting in the way of that. Those are some examples of what detaching looks like. So the easiest way to start detaching is to stay silent. And the next time somebody is hurting, you can use validation and say, yeah, I'm really sorry you're hurting. I really get it. What can I do? But don't take over. Don't fix it before being asked. Because so many times we want to rescue that other person from their pain. Instead, I want you to count to 10, take a breath, and just let them have their process, because sometimes that's the kindest thing you can do when you love somebody. So why is detaching so difficult? The biggest reason is people tell me all the time, I'm afraid something bad is going to happen. And let's face it, bad things do happen. But if you don't detach and save yourself, you could go down with them. You know, we would like to think that we could prevent somebody's pain or somebody else's consequences, but we can't. So I want you to really challenge those thoughts that are keeping you in fear. The next reason why it's really hard is that we think we have the answers for somebody else, and we really don't. Me as a counselor, I can think I have the answers for my family and friends, and almost all the time I am reminded that I do not. I do not have the other person's answers, and the best support I can give is to listen and validate their feelings and not try to fix it. Because let's face it, most people don't want to be fixed. Another reason detaching is so hard is that we feel responsible for the outcome. And a lot of times this is because we want to control people, places, and things in order to feel safe. And the truth is that the only point of control we have is ourselves. Everything outside of us is not in our control. And the quicker we realize that, the quicker we can decrease our own stress. Because by taking responsibility for everything outside of us, we start to feel overwhelmed and anxious. And that's where detaching can really help. It can provide you that line between what's your responsibility and what isn't. And what isn't your responsibility is what somebody else is doing. What your responsibility is looking at how you're reacting to the situation and what your behavior is. That's what you can change in this scenario. So some tips on how to detach are, first thing I would recommend is being quiet and taking a breath. Because often that is going to prevent you from overstepping into somebody else's life, trying to fix it or change it, but to just take a breath, keep eye contact, and trust that this is not your problem to solve. Also, I want you to recognize that sometimes helping doesn't work. The best form of support can be to listen and to validate somebody and to ask them what they need, not assume what they need. Another way to detach is to change your focus and do something to take care of yourself. Because if you're with someone who creates a lot of drama and has a lot of chaos in their life, the detaching is going to save you from getting caught up in that chaos. So one way to do that is to take care of yourself. Do something good for yourself in the situation instead of constantly worrying about what this other person's doing. Because ultimately we can't control what they're doing anyway. The last one is refrain from giving advice or trying to take away their pain. Okay, remember, people need their pain because that's their motivation to grow and to change their behavior. Without pain, most people don't change, and that's just human nature. So when you're practicing detachment, you're going to notice that your own issues of stress and overwhelm are going to decrease, and the quality of your relationships are going to improve because you're not going to be trying to control or help them. You're going to give them the dignity to help themselves. If you're really having trouble detaching, here's my bonus tip. I want you to consider checking out Al-Anon or CODA. These are 12-step programs that help people detach with love. This is one of their sayings, and it's very powerful because sometimes we need a little bit more help. So I want you to go watch my video on 12-step programs, and so you can understand how they could help you detach with love. Thanks so much.